Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, smash a like on the video as well. It massively helps me out. Look, it's a Monday fucking evening, morning, afternoon. It's a Monday evening. It's the international break, but we are going to keep the vibes good. Well, loads of you in here already. Patiently waits whilst humming Pirates of the Caribbean theme. Yeah, I have an odd habit of doing that myself. Gyökeres hat-trick, we will talk about that for sure. Everyone, pre-fire the thumbs up. Yeah, if you could drop a thumbs up on the video, that would be great. John Vincent, hi from Florida. Finally, I can catch one of these lives. Usually I'm at school and watch the VOD later. Well, I appreciate anyone who watches the VOD later, but even better that you're here for it. Creeper, good to see you. We need Gyökeres badly. 50 goal and assists in the season. It's not even finished. But Jacob coming the other way. It says, Warra overhyped player. Gyökeres pulling these numbers in the Portuguese league and in the Championship. Yes, it's impressive, but it doesn't translate to the Premier League. Well, look, we'll talk about it. Saka number 7, good to see you. Magnus, good to see you. Verdi, Fizzy, Philip, VV Vlad, Philip, Tentego, Hannah, Germana, John, Emilio, Churms, Mia, Ethan Udall, SS9, Tom, Leo, Jay, Matt, Nathan, Max. There's so many of you in tonight. It's good to see you all. Elephant Boy, Harry, Absolute Cack as well. Sport Cat, Noah. I mean, there's loads of you in here. This is absolutely sensational. And look, we're going to talk about Gyökeres. We're going to talk about Gabriel Magalhães, his injury. Is it bad? Who knows? Talk a little bit about the transfer window, the summer transfer window. The rumor mill is beginning to turn. Talking about Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, players that we need to get out of the door. What do you think of the Kimmich links? Yeah, I just saw a thing before I went live that potentially Joshua Kimmich leaving Bayern Munich this summer. It's one I'd be interested in. Look, he's not at his best at the moment. I don't think he suits what Tuchel wants. But for me, Joshua Kimmich was one of the best midfielders in the world for 3 years. At a young age, there is a serious player there. And when you look at a player that could play as a 6 or an 8, alongside Declan Rice, would be fantastic. There was not a stream on YouTube yesterday. There was a watch along on Tifo yesterday for the. There was a watch along on Tifo yesterday for the FA Cup game. It was a very good watch along because it was a very good game. 4-3 in the end. Kimmich is too old and has no pace. How old is Kimmich? Because I don't think he's that old. How old is Kimmich? Kimmich is 29. I don't think that's too old, personally. Rory, what is the news about Gabriel? I haven't heard anything, to be honest. So the news on Gabriel is, and this came from various sources, but in terms of the one that had the most detail was Sami Mokbel in the Daily Mail, who is very good. Gabriel Magalhães has withdrawn from the Brazil squad, but it is not due to a serious injury. It is more precaution. Problem described as genuine, but not too bad. Magalhães has been carrying a foot issue, and I saw somewhere else it's actually an inflamed Achilles tendon, but no confirmation of the specific issue from him, but it is supposedly an inflamed Achilles tendon. So he's withdrawn from the Brazil squad. He's coming back to Arsenal. And yeah, I mean, the immediate reaction from me and many others was we have unlocked the March international break injuries that can tactically get a player out of an international break. So yeah, VV Vlad would have loved it if Rice had the foot issue instead. Yeah, if Saka, Rice, and Ødegaard could have picked up the same foot issue, that would have been great. But I mean, in fairness, I do think there is a bit of genuine injury there. I don't know if you remember seeing it, but in the game against Porto, you remember against Porto, there was that moment where he was battling against 3 or 4 players quite high up the pitch, and he was just all over them, holding onto the ball. A minute or two after that, he went down holding his foot. So I do wonder if there is actually some, like Sami Mokbel said, it's genuine that he's pulled out for a small injury, but it's not a serious injury that's going to, affect the rest of the season, hopefully, because we need him in 2 weeks' time for the Man City game. Outside of that, Thomas Partey has also well, he basically asked the Ghana FA to exclude him from national team call-up because he wants to regain full fitness. Again, sensible. And so overall, we've got Gabriel Magalhães not going. Martinelli's not going. That was a legitimate injury he needs to heal from. Gabriel Jesus isn't going. Thomas Partey's not going. Tomiyasu's not going. Ben White's not going. So, a lot of players, senior players, are not going on international duty, which is quite beneficial for us. Yesterday's game just described Liverpool this season. I kind of agree. And look, it'll be interesting to see, how Liverpool bounce back from that. Obviously, to go off a loss like that into the international break's not ideal for them. There's no immediate chance to bounce back from it. The difference between us and them in this international break, because that's the thing. With an international break, whatever the final result was before the international break, you're stuck with it for like 2 weeks. So for us, it could have been getting knocked out of the Champions League, but actually it was a triumphant victory. And for Liverpool, it's a loss and a tough loss to take as well. Yeah, Arteta brought the injury DLC. It is unlocked. Thoughts on those Klopp comments post-match? Were they taken out of context? No, they weren't taken out of context. If you're talking about the interviewer asked him why the team wasn't as intense as normal. I do think not a great question, right? It's the stint between that kind of winter break and this break. It's been a lot of games. And they've had a lot of injuries, meaning a fair few players have had to play a lot of minutes for them, right? So it wasn't a great question to ask why they weren't as intense as normal going into extra time. But you can't turn around and tell it, and say that's a dumb question and then say that the interview is out of shape. It's just you've just got to deal with it. You've just got to, if you're Klopp, yeah, you're angry and frustrated, but you've got to handle it better than that. Everything is good. Thank you, Devin. Good to see you. He definitely didn't call him fat. He just chose the wrong wording with the question they asked. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if he meant out of shape as in physically or mentally. But either way, I don't think he should be saying that. Has Vieira gone on international duty or is he still training with Arsenal? I don't think he got called up, to be fair. I'm not entirely sure, but I've got a feeling he didn't get called up. With how brilliant the FA Cup games were yesterday, seeing them go on TNT next season is frustrating. It is. I mean, look, I've got TNT Sport. It doesn't, I'm still going to be able to watch the FA Cup games as I normally would. But yesterday, it broke the viewing figures in the UK for this year. The game between Liverpool and Man United on ITV, 8.6 million people in the UK tuned into it. And part of that is because it's free. There are people that don't have TNT because they can't afford it or because they don't want to pay that much money for effectively one game a weekend that might not be their team. And so, yeah, it's a shame. It's a real shame for the FA Cup. And the other thing is that now that it's behind a paywall and obviously TNT are paying however much they are for those rights, they're not going to care about putting on the right game. They're not going to care about putting on a lower league team if that team isn't going to generate them views, which means all of the Premier League teams are going to be the ones that get shown, which I don't think is great. Ten Hag still talking about the 3-1 loss to Arsenal. It's genuinely mental. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this. Somehow, after a game where it was probably Man United's best performance of the season, they've beaten Liverpool in an FA Cup quarter-final 4-3. So many talking points. He somehow took it back to Arsenal beating them in September when they had a goal rightfully disallowed for offside because of Gabriel's genius, and then we scored a perfectly legitimate goal. It is genuinely concerning that that's still on his mind, but it also shows you how few things have gone against Man United this season if the most memorable thing he can think of as things that's gone against us were 2 correct decisions 6 months ago. Like, that shows how little has actually gone against them. You'd think Ten Hag would focus on actually winning a game because they haven't done much of that this season. You'd have thought he would just yesterday talk about how good his players were. Just talk about how good all your players are. You don't need to talk about us. It was weird. The magic of the FA Cup is going to be ruined a little bit. with how lower league teams now have to get a Prem team to be guaranteed TV. Yeah, true. And also, they're getting rid of all replays after the third round. So this year, I think it was after the fifth round they got rid of replays. From next year, it'll be after the third round onwards will not have replays. Because basically, like the Premier League teams the top Premier League teams are not going to have enough space in their schedule to have an FA Cup replay at any point. Because there's going to be 2 additional Champions League games. Or Europa League or Conference League games as well. So yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because, you know, for a lower league or non-league side, if you can draw a Premier League team and then take them to a replay, that's serious money that they're going to lose out on, which is a big, big shame. Partey not in training photos, surely can't be injured again. I hope not. If he's injured again, we should give up. If he is injured again, give up. I've not seen the training pictures myself, so I won't comment on it. Thoughts on the Disasi own goal? Do you think it was his or the keeper's fault? It's Disasi's fault. Sanchez moved to where Sanchez is meant to be. Sanchez moved to the right position. And Disasi absolutely shanked it and overcooked it. So I think he was pushed. Disasi was pushed slightly off balance as he was kicking the ball. Not enough for a foul, but enough to make him completely miskick it. How many Munich fans sneak into the Emirates for the home leg will show how much touting still goes on. Yeah, I'm hoping that there won't be any in there, but that's a good point, by the way. If you are trying to enter the ballot, it is open now. The ballot for the tickets for the Bayern Munich game, it is open now until 10 a.m. on Wednesday. So get yourself in. I tried to get onto the website at literally like 2 minutes past 10 this morning. It opened at 10 a.m. this morning. And even at 2 minutes past 10, the queue to get on the website, I was like 2,500th in the queue to get onto the website. So there are going to be a lot of people entering the ballot. The UCL calendar next year will be mad. 8 group stage games guaranteed. If you finish 9th to 16th in the league, then you have to play an extra 2 games, like around 32. Yes. If you were to get to the final of the Champions League, having finished 9th to 16th, it would be an additional, basically, if you finish 9th to 16th, it's an additional 4 games in total. The 2 extra games for the league and then 2 extra games in that round of 32, which is crazy. Carter, you haven't missed much. The main news, Gabriel has withdrawn from the Brazil squad with an injury, but it's not thought to be serious. Thomas Partey is also not going. I've applied for the ballot, but I haven't got confirmation email that I've applied. You should get a confirmation email, so I would, maybe double check that. Because you should get a confirmation email. Another little bit of news. Eddie Nketiah could leave Arsenal this summer, and Wolves are among the Premier League sides chasing him. Crystal Palace, Fulham, and Brentford also hold an interest. Arsenal are looking for £30 million. So Eddie Nketiah could be on his way. I mean, he will be on his way. I've no doubt that Eddie Nketiah gets sold this summer. And to be fair, you hear those names, right? Wolves, Palace, Fulham, Brentford. And I think that's his level. I love Eddie, love what he's done for Arsenal, but the truth is he's probably not good. He's not good enough for us anymore in terms of where we want to be. And I think he can go to Wolves, Palace, Fulham, Brentford and start for them. I think he can do that. So 30 million for Eddie. Yeah, but if you think we got 40 for Balogun, we got 30 for Willock. I wouldn't underestimate how much you can get for a young English player that's played at a high level. Even if we don't think he's good enough. We're looking, Brighton are interested in Reece Nelson as well, and we're looking at 20 to 30 million for Reece Nelson. But think about the amount of players that have come through the Arsenal academy, and then we've sold them, for more. Oh yeah, no, it is good. It is good. I thought you meant like you didn't believe you didn't believe it, but Iwobi. I mean, how much did we get for Iwobi? 35 million to Everton. It's just how it goes. He's bagged in the Prem too. Yeah, he's shown that he can score goals. He has. I remember his hat-trick against the top side Sheffield United. Yeah. I mean, that was a high-quality hat-trick. The hat-trick against Sheffield United was high quality. Look, by the way, there's 150 of you in here, which is absolutely unreal for a Monday night. Massively appreciate it. The buy-in ballot closes at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. 10 a.m. UK time on Wednesday. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the one and only Viktor Gyökeres. And I have been corrected. I need to start calling him Gyökeres rather than Gyökeres. He's got the Özil O in his name. It's Gyökeres. But last night, I said on the live stream, I said on the watch along yesterday that last night was going to be Gyökeres watch for the Gyökeres steam train. And, well, we were treated. Those of us that were watching were treated. Sporting against Boavista, Gyökeres got a hat-trick and an assist. A 9.8 FOTMob rating. Absolutely sensational. Absolutely sensational. That takes him up to 50 goal and assists in 39 games so far this season. In the league, 32 goal contributions in 25 starts. Unbelievable. And you look, he had a 9.1 against Daruka, 9.8 against Boavista, struggled a little bit against Atalanta, but even then, he still got an assist in the only goal that they scored against Atalanta. He was a sub in the first leg. I definitely passes the eye test. Just a question of how much they would want. Well, he's got a release clause. He's got a release clause of £86 million. It's basically 100 million euros. So that would be, I assume, how much they would want. And look, if his form continues like this, someone's going to trigger that release clause 100%. And it would be me. It would be me. But, look at a map like this. You're looking at it. It's just sensational. It's sensational. He's a workhorse. He works so hard. He's a link-up player. He's a finisher. He wins his aerial duels. He is the guy. He is the guy. Rory, what would happen if we did sign Gyökeres and he isn't settling in immediately? Then we've got other options. You've got Gabriel Jesus. You've got Kai Havertz. We've got other options. Is he world class? Depends how you define world class. I think the striker market is a really interesting one at the moment because there are flaws in Gyökeres' game, right? I think his hold-up play is good, could be better. I think his pressing will need to improve at Arsenal because of the way we press. He'll have to learn off the likes of Gabriel Jesus. But you're not going to get anyone that's perfect. There are flaws to Victor Osimhen's game. I don't think Osimhen's link-up game is very good. I don't think he's particularly creative. Ivan Toney lacks pace. There are flaws in everyone's game, every striker's game. But for me, at the moment, he is the one that I look at that I think is the most well-rounded and the one that suits Arsenal the most. And the big difference for me compared to Osimhen is the creativity. It's the assists. It's the goal involvements outside of the goals that he scores himself. He does not have much of a head game, I believe. He likes balls by his feet. He does. He's big. He's powerful. And he wins aerial duels. I don't think he is much of a... But to be fair, I don't know if that's particularly how Sporting play. A United fan told me he's a championship baller. No way. I mean, he balled out in the championship, to be fair. But now he's doing it for Sporting. Now he's doing it for Sporting, who are having a fantastic season themselves. So, I mean, look at this. Look at this greenery. Look at this greenery. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is what we want. This is what we want. And look, the reality is, right now he's becoming more and more on the radar. Suddenly, Fabrizio Romano's tweeting about him, which is never good because that always pumps up the price. Lots more people, even compared to when did I make one of the videos I made maybe 3 weeks ago was about my number one target being Gyökeres. Even in the last 3 weeks, the hype around him is increasing, and when that happens, the price goes up. The wage demands that he can go for go up. The competition for him goes up. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Is Osimhen still an option? I'm sure Osimhen is still an option. Yeah. Did you read that Arsenal scouts have informed Arteta he should prioritise Benjamin Sesko? No way we get both. I mean, Sesko for me, And I've watched more of Gyökeres than Sesko because I've actively been choosing to watch like league games that he's been playing in. But for me, there's a big difference. There's a big level difference between Gyökeres and Sesko. Sesko looks good. Sesko does look good. But I thought, you know, in the 2 games against Real Madrid, and obviously that is Real Madrid, I thought there were quite a few things that I looked at and I was like, that he's raw. He's definitely raw. And the difference for me is I think Gyökeres could come in and after a couple of months, he'd be the starting striker. Sesko, I don't think he would be. I think that's the big difference. Do you prefer Rice in the 6 or the 8? 6. 6. Yeah, I originally thought we brought Rice in to eventually be the 8, but I think he ends up being the 6. He's spoken about it quite a lot himself, and it sounds like he wants to be the 6, and Arteta wants him to be the 6. So, yeah. And I think he's probably, you know, he's one of the top 2 6s in the world, right? I think if we can go and get an 8 to go alongside him, happy days. Gyökeres' availability also looks good. Doesn't seem too injury prone. He's never been injured. He's 25 years old. He's never been injured. I think we went through this before. I think he's played 300 senior games without an injury. Let me pull it up again. But I'm pretty sure he has played 300 senior games without injury, which is... It means he'll probably do his ACL on his debut for Arsenal, is what it probably means. Yeah, no injury record. 25 years old, no injury record. 50 goal contributions in 39 games this season. And to be fair, I know Jakub said at the start of the stream, 50 goal contributions, but it's in the Portuguese league. I don't think the Portuguese league is that much worse than Serie A, to be quite honest with you. So if you're looking at Osimhen, who's nowhere near that record this season, he's doing it in Serie A. And we've seen, you know, Lukaku bangs goals in Serie A, can't do it in the Premier League. The fact is, you know, unless you get Erling Haaland, you're not going to get a player who has proven that they can score lots of goals in the Premier League. That's the way it is. We're up at over 200 people watching, by the way. Absolutely unbelievable. If you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. Smash a like on the video as well. See if we can get this to the most liked live stream that we've done, because that is ridiculous. Thoughts on Zubimendi? Heard a lot of buzz about him and his Real Sociedad links. Yeah, I mean... Zubimendi, for me, when I watched both legs of Sociedad against PSG, I wasn't blown away. And you can't always just judge it on like two games, right? But yeah, he didn't blow me away. And that's why I'm looking at Kimmich maybe, if he's available. Onana, potentially, from Everton. Gyökeres gives me Højlund vibes. I mean, that's good, because I rate Højlund. You've not missed Guess the Gooner yet. What's the highest price you think we'd be willing to pay? Well, our striker, in my opinion, the striker and the left 8 are going to be the 2 big ones. So I reckon for both of them, we could go upwards of 80, 90 million. So yeah, I think we could go and trigger his release clause. I think we could go and trigger Gyökeres' release clause. Because otherwise you're going to be looking at, like, an Ollie Watkins would cost 80 million plus, probably. Ivan Toney, supposedly Brentford want that sort of money. Osimhen's going to cost 100 million. You're going to be spending a lot of money either way. Rory, if you get a ticket in the ballot and then get a ticket but then don't want to go, what happens? Rory, if you get a ticket in the ballot and then get a ticket but don't want to go, what happens? You have to put it on the exchange. You put the ticket on the exchange. I think you either get your money back, or I'm not really sure because I've never not wanted my ticket, but I really don't want Onana. He's not the guy to take us to the next level. Fair enough. The thing is, for me, Onana's the sort of player where I feel like get him out of Everton and watch him flourish. Like, I've seen him quite a few times, and I just look and I go, that is a player that in a different team with a better setup, with less defensive responsibility, you could really see him flourish. He's physically, he's an absolute monster. And the idea of a team trying to get through Onana and Declan Rice, good luck. Good luck getting through the two of them. What's your ideal summer? Positions and player? So striker, Gyökeres, that's numero uno. First day of the transfer window, trigger the release clause, get it done. Left-sided 8 is the next priority position. I'm not entirely sure who I actually want. De Jong is definitely an option, but I don't think we can afford him, or I don't think we'd want to pay the wages. Like I said, Onana, Zubimendi, Douglas Luiz would be unbelievable. Again, I don't think Villa will sell. In fact, actually, Douglas Luiz right now would actually probably be my number one, just because he's more versatile. He can play as the 6. Him and Declan Rice can do what Jorginho and Declan Rice currently do, where in big games, Declan Rice sits, and in lesser games, Declan Rice gets forward and Jorginho sits. So that would be the second one. Then you're looking at Hato from Ajax as a versatile defender. That covers all of the defensive any potential defensive weakness I think we've got. You go and get Hato, and then we're in a position where you can bring him through slowly. He doesn't even need to play next season. He's so young. Then you're looking at a right winger, ideally a versatile winger that can play off either side. But really, we need competition for Bukayo Saka, so I'd want them to be left-footed probably. In terms of who that is, still not sure. Neto, again, injured, bad hamstring injury. And then that's probably it, in all honesty. I think they're the big 4 that you want. And then you probably sell Ramsdale and go and get a second choice goalkeeper. And that'll be that, And I don't really care who that second choice goalkeeper is. Hato release clause, 100 million. Yeah, he's not going to go for 100 million. I'll tell you for free, no defender who hasn't played anywhere outside of the Dutch league is going for 100 million. Not happening. Johan Bakayoko. Yeah, there's a lot of nice looking wingers. Bakayoko, Nico Williams. Obviously, there is Neto and Elise who have their own issues, in my opinion. There was another guy I was looking at last night. It was one of those long Twitter threads doing a deep dive on a player. I think his name was Sule. I think his name was wait, let me see if I can find him. His name was Sule. He looked good. I can't find it now. Kubo, yeah, potentially Kubo. Yeah, Matthias Sule, that's the guy. I'm trying to find him on here now. Here he is. This guy. Frosinone. Is it this guy? I think it's this guy. Yeah, this right winger. Looked good. He looked good. Not saying he's worth, just saying he's going to sign a contract. Yeah, he will. Hato's already signed a new contract with Ajax, but that's fine. Do you think we could go back in for Kudus? We wanted him in the summer. He's cooking for West Ham. I mean, look, if you were one of the absolute OGs that was here last summer, you would know how much I wanted Kudus. You will know how much I wanted Kudus. And yes, I would still love Mohamed Kudus. I think what we've seen at him at West Ham, we would get even more out of him at Arsenal. He can play centrally. He can play off either side. You creamed over Kudus. I did. And I still do. He was the guy. We got Timber, and I was like, tick. Next one's Kudus. And it just didn't happen. 220 viewers, absolute scenes. Yeah, this is an unbelievable stream. I appreciate you all for being here. I remember you glazed over him. I wasn't. Oh, let's I appreciated the immense talent that I could see, and who was right, who nailed the scouting of In fact, if I'm honest, last summer my scouting was unbelievable. I scouted Timber. I called that before the transfer window even opened. Kudus was on the list. Declan Rice. Honestly, Arsenal should sign me. And when we get Gyökeres this summer, and he's the top scorer in the Premier League next year, we'll come back to streams like this, and we'll marvel. Do you think? No, I don't think we'll ever go for Timber's brother. Would you take Kimmich? I'd be interested in Kimmich. Yeah, I'd be interested in him. For a solid period, he was the best midfielder, arguably the best midfielder in the world. Kudus is African. Arteta won't sign, following Pepe's footsteps. Pep's footsteps. I disagree. I don't think Arteta has an African issue. Kudus, which I recommended, also recommended Onana by email to the Arsenal boardroom. There you go, Rodney. Rodney's on fire. What game worries you more, Spurs or United away? Spurs away. Spurs away worries me more than United away, in all honesty. Spurs have got more on the line, probably. They're probably in a bigger fight for the top four. And obviously it's North London derby. Anything can happen in a North London derby. I'm not saying that Spurs scare me as a team. It's just the what do you call it? Like the hype that will be around that game. It's just a big game. It also comes at a worse time for us. The Spurs game comes at a worse time than the United game, for sure. Would you take Rodrigo if Madrid sign Mbappe? I would take Rodrigo. Yeah, I mean Rodrigo would be the perfect winger. But again, you can't sign Rodrigo and not start him, really. That would be wild. Spurs were so bad against Fulham; their midfield was non-existent. I agree, but that it doesn't guarantee that they won't show up against us. In fact, so often they do. So often they do show up against us. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right gets the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. So get your fingers on your keyboards ready for today's Guess the Gooner. Clue number 1, they have played for 3 different Premier League teams. Clue number 2, they've won the Premier League twice. Clue number 3, they made their senior debut for Corinthians. Clue number 4, they scored 1 goal in 37 games for Arsenal. And clue number 5, they joined Arsenal for free in 2020. And the player is, and I need to find the person that got it first. It was Ethan Udal. It was Willian, and Ethan Udal got it first. Second was Max. Third was Carter. Fourth was Tobatron. And fifth was Emilio. And I am going to assume that anyone that put anyone that put William was trying to put Willian, and it was auto-corrected. But congratulations to Ethan Udal, who got that first correct. Well done, Ethan Udal. I was 5th on my screen, but I know I'm going to be 10th on yours. Yeah, you know how it is, unfortunately, young tar. You know how it is. My first ever Guess the Gooner win. I've been second 5 times. That's your first ever win. That can't be your first. Is that really your first ever win? That's unbelievable. You've definitely won Guess the Non-Gooner before. I'm certain of it. But congratulations. Look, that Ethan Udal is the definition of perseverance. This is why you never give up. You never quit. It's like me in the 9 and 9 Trophies Challenge. Never back down. Congratulations, Ethan Udal. And up next, we've got Guess the Non-Gooner. Guess the Non-Gooner. I will give you the full career path of the player who does not and has not played for Arsenal, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. Get your fingers on your keyboards for Guess the Non-Gooner. This player started their career at Inter Milan. They went to Vasco da Gama on loan. They went to Espanyol on loan. They went to Liverpool. They went to Barcelona. They went to Bayern Munich on loan. Aston Villa on loan. Aston Villa permanently. Al Duhail on loan. Inter Milan, Vasco da Gama on loan, Espanyol on loan, and then a permanent move to Liverpool, permanent move to Barcelona, loan to Bayern Munich, loan to Aston Villa, permanent move to Aston Villa, and a loan move to Al Duhail. Who got it first? I'm sure lots of you have now got it. And the person that got it first, of course, probably better at Guess the Non-Gooner than he is at Guess the Gooner, even though he's brilliant at both. It's VV Vlad with Philippe Coutinho. VV Vlad gets it first. Vincent comes second. Vincent, who normally doesn't make the live show, he's in with a bang in his first live show, coming second. George Christodoulou was third. Sportcat was fourth. And Yoel was fifth. It was Philippe Coutinho. There you go. Is he only on loan now? I thought it was permanent. According to Transfer Market. Oh, no. Yeah, no, he did move permanently, actually. My bad. Oh, no. No, so it's a... I don't know what's going on. Transfer Market thinks he's on loan. Transfer Market thinks he's on loan. But congratulations. Congratulations to VV Vlad. There you go. There you go. He's done it. But yeah, look, so in terms of the international break, obviously the ones that we're really going to be watching, and when I say watching more through our fingers, trying to hope that they don't get injured. We're looking at stop doing that now. That was weird. We're looking at Rice, Saka, Saliba, who's gone with France, Kivior. I'm not sure if Jorginho... I don't think Jorginho's even been called up, but I'm not sure. Kai Havertz. And that's pretty much it. Do you know what? That is pretty much it. There's not a huge... I think Zinchenko must have been called up probably. But other than that, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. You should watch... yes. Yeah, watch some Sweden games to see more of Gyökeres. I don't even know. If there's anyone Swedish in the chat, let me know. Does Gyökeres start for Sweden? Or does Isaac start? Or do they do both? How do Sweden fit in Kulusevski, Isaac, and Gyökeres? Does one of them just play off the left? Second on my screen, Wi-Fi has done me. It's a shame. It's a shame, Leo. Perfect time to do the gaming stream during the international break. Yes. I am hoping to start the gaming streams. Although next week I have to go back home for another funeral, which is 5th funeral in less than a year. I am beginning to think that I am some sort of curse. They are dropping dead. But I'm Swedish. Gyökeres starts. Isaac warms the bench. I mean, that says it all. That says it all. I'm completely taking your word for it that you are Swedish and that's the truth. But... that says it all. Isaac on the left, Gyökeres up front, Kulu on the right. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's a new manager now, but the old one did a 4-4-2. Classic. Classic. How much would a buying ticket be through the ballot, approximately? I think the Porto one cost me... I won the Porto one in the ballot, and I've got a feeling it was like 70 quid. I can't really remember. I don't watch, but Isaac plays off the left, so probably do that. Fair enough. That makes sense. Is there a chance Isaac might be sold by Newcastle? If so, would you prefer him or Gyökeres? See, this is the thing. Isaac or Gyökeres? Because I'm a big fan of Isaac. And he's proven that he can do it in the Prem. Nah, I'm the captain of the Gyökeres hype train. I'm the captain of the train. I can't. We're full steam ahead. There's no more stopping for passengers, and there is no more looking behind us. We are on a one-track road to Viktor Gyökeres. How much do you think we're going to win? How much do you think we are going to win? I'm a Bayern fan. Bayern aren't going to win. We're going to beat you at the Emirates, and then we're going to draw at the Allianz, and we are going through. Yeah, Isaac is way more injury-prone than Gyökeres. He is. And, you know, Isaac's one of those players that just looks injury-prone. Like, even if you didn't know Isaac's injury record, you look at him and you just go, he's definitely injury-prone. Like, just the way he's built. Look at the way Gyökeres is built, by the way. Is an absolute... He is a train. He himself is a steam train. Whereas Isaac does just look like he could break in two. You should go watch the goal he scored against Belgium in the latest match to see what kind of tank he really is. I'm pretty sure I've seen it. Feel like I've definitely seen it. After my first guess, the Gooner win, you will complete the 9 in 9 challenge tomorrow. I hope so. The 9 in 9 needs to be done. It really does. I can already see penalties again. If it goes to penalties, it will be more difficult than the previous penalty shootout, that's for sure. We'd be away for it for starters. And the Germans on penalties, very good. I would rather take Isaac. I've only watched one game of Gyökeres, and he's good, so I don't know who's better. Isaac's finishing is maybe. Isaac's finishing is brilliant. Isaac's finishing is brilliant. That invert the wing account is definitely a bait account. Oh, it has to be. It has to be. It's one of the worst Twitter accounts I've ever seen. It has to be. It has to be bait. It has to be. And to be fair, assuming it is bait, the guy behind it is a genius. Do you see a future for Emil? I honestly don't think he has much time left to prove himself. Yeah, he doesn't have much time to prove himself. And the thing is now, because everyone's back fit, I just don't see Smith Rowe getting much game time. We haven't got time to throw him into games and hope it works. So maybe we do end up selling him in the summer. And this is the thing. Maybe he goes one way and Douglas Luiz comes the other way for Villa. It's not a like-for-like swap, but Villa were interested in Emil Smith Rowe before. So if we can throw him in to sweeten a deal for Douglas Luiz, as much as I'd hate to see Emil Smith Rowe go, I'd do it, because Douglas Luiz is going to come in. Douglas Luiz will be someone that would come in and immediately elevate the squad. Douglas Luiz is a player that comes into the starting 11, almost guaranteed. Emil Smith Rowe's not. So, yeah, it's possible that he goes, which is... It's sad. It is sad, and I just feel like injuries have just consistently hit him at the worst times. He's been so unlucky with it. But that's the way a career can go. I can't remember. I was reading about someone recently. I can't remember who it was, and they were like, an injury stopped them making a move, and then this, that, and the other happened. And it was like, you're like, God, the way that their career trajectory could have gone if that one injury didn't happen, and they'd made that move, and then they'd kicked on there, and it's crazy. Kudus or Kimmich? Two very different players. Both of them I would happily take. As a person living in Sweden, I'm ashamed to say I haven't seen much of Gyökeres, but I'm intrigued to watch him during the international break. Scout him. Watch him. Scout him. And then afterwards, you can come and get on the train. We'll do a drive-by. The Gyökeres train will stop. No, it won't stop. You're just going to have to jump on as it's moving. The fact he hasn't scored in nearly 2 years is crazy. Smith Rowe, yeah, it's sad. It's sad. Still 200 viewers after Guess the Gooner. Incredible. Yeah, I know. We do get a drop-off. We do get a drop-off when Guess the Gooner happens, which I understand. Guess the Gooner's not for everyone. But for the hardcore, for the OGs, it's going nowhere. I think Luiz goes back to City. Maybe he goes back to City. I mean, what if he does? That would be huge for them. Absolutely huge for them if he went back there. But then it's one that I'm surprised they've not already done it. If they could do it, I'm surprised they didn't even do it last summer, to be honest. I've already thrown myself on the Gyökeres train. Excellent. Max is on it as well. Sensational. But there you go. Look, that is actually going to be the end of the stream. It's been an unbelievable stream. Viewers have been unreal. Lots to talk about. And on a Monday as well. I just absolutely love it. I love it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please smash a like on the video as well. Have a fantastic evening, whatever you're doing. Get through Tuesday tomorrow, and we will be back here at 6:30 as normal for another stream. I appreciate you all. Have a good evening, and I will catch you tomorrow. Goodbye.